Good morning, friends. Shabbat Shalom. That's what I want to hear. Some excitement out there. That's it. Well, we're ready to begin our service and celebrating this beautiful young lady, Bela Hoffman, Bela becoming a bat mitzvah. So Bela, how about if we all turn with you to page 140, and we'll begin. How goodly are your dwellings, O Jacob, your sanctuaries, O Israel, Ma Tovu.
Ma Tovu, Ocha Lecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. Ma Tovu, Ocha Lecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael.
Va'ani be'ochastecha avo betecha eshachaveh elecha kodshecha be'yiratecha Adonai ahati yom betecha
ואני אשכח ואברכה אברכה לפני אדוני Elohim berochastecha, Anehi be'emet ish echad.
Let's all rise as we turn to the morning blessings, thanking God for the many, many blessings we have in our lives, we experience each and every day. 146.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sakviv v'nalakafim ben yom u'ben layla.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzomo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu b'nei chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish harumim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokeh kechufim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa lichol tzarchim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher echin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozei Yisrael v'gvura.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam motei Yisrael b'tifarah.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten layav koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'aveh shenai me'inai numami afapah.
Amen.
They'll be seated. Utzanenu chayim uv'kol yom l'cheinu chesed ami b'einecha uv'einei kol ro'einu v'tikmalenu chasadim tovim. Baruch atah Adonai. Omer chasadim tovim li'amo Yisrael.
Amen.
Continuing on page 152. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tivanu la'asok v'divrei Torah v'rei Adonai Eloheinu b'Beit Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Torah li'amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher ba'achar rabbanim mikol amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
The Kibbutz Torah and Vayishlach. This week's Torah and Haftarah readings include many converts. Avram was converted from idolatry to monotheism. His name was changed from Avram to Abraham. Yaakov has a conversion of sorts after wrestling with a man, an angel, or possibly himself. His name is changed from Yaakov to Israel. Bela's Haftarah portion is Ovadia, a book in prophets comprising a single chapter. According to the rabbis, Ovadia is a convert, a proselyte from Edom, or present-day Jordan. Ovadia saves 100 prophets from the evil Jezebel. He will foretell the demise of his native Edom. My dictionary gives several synonyms for conversion. Among them are change, turning, and growth. To paraphrase Hillel, one who does not grow larger grows smaller. Continuing on page 154, Kaddish to Rabbanan, this is a mourner's Kaddish. Mourners will please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malkutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dekol Beit Yisrael. V'agala ubizman kari v'imru amen.
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 Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'lemei almaya. Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata da'amira v'alma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Al Yisrael v'al Rabbanan v'al Tamidehon. V'al kol Tamidehon. V'al kol madios kin v'oraita. Di v'atra hadain v'di v'chol atar v'atar. Yehi l'chon u'l'chon shlam araba china v'chista v'rachamin. V'chayin orrikin umson ervike vorgenamik adam b'vahonde b'shemaya v'yatra v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya. V'chaim tovim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
Osei shalom v'imru mav hu barachamav yasei shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
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 Continuing with the song for Shabbat, page 168. Tov lehadot l'Adonai l'melech elyon. Yatasnai sadikata mahifrak ke'eret bavanun yiske shetulim biveit Adonai v'chatzrot Eloheinu yafrihu odinuvum b'seifa Dishenim v'ra'anim yihu lehagid hi ashar Adonai zori v'lo avlatabo. All rise, Sukkot Zimra, page 180. Baruch Shamar v'kayah ha'olam Baruch hu Baruch Ozer Bereshit Baruch Omer v'yoseh Baruch Ozer v'mechayim Baruch Merakem ha'aretz Baruch Merakem ha'abriot Baruch Mishalem Sakar Tov Lebreha Baruch Hailahad v'kayah ha'am lanetzach Baruch Podeh Umatzil, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Eloheinu Melech Haolam Ha'el Ha'av Rachman, Hamhulav Lefihi Ahamo, Meshubach U'Mefohar, Meshubach U'Mefohar, Lishon Hasidah V'Avadav, Shirei David Avdecha, Melech Adonai Eloheinu, Bishvachot u'vizmihirot, Bishvachot u'vizmihirot, Negadel Kameshaberka Kahut Vayeherka, V'nasker Shimka V'namlechecha Mahalkeinu Eloheinu, Yachid Kei Ha'olamim Melech Mishubach U'Mefohar Hadei Ha'Shemo HaGadol, Baruch Atah Adonai,
Baruch Shemo.
Melech Mehulal B'Tishbachot.
Amen.
As we're all seated, Ashrei, page 190. Ashrei, Ashrei V'Techa, Hallelujah, Selah.
אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו.
Tehillah leDavid, Arumim Kol Chacham Melech, V'Havrecha Shemcha Le'olam Va'ed.
וכל יום אברכך, ואהללה שמך לעולם ועד.
Gadol Ranam Lam Meod, V'Ligdulato Ein Keker.
דור לדור ישבח מעשיך, וגבורותיך יגידו.
Adar Kivot Hodek Niflotecha Asicha.
וזוז דורותיך יאמרו, גדולתך אספרנה.
Zecharovtecha Yabihu, V'Tzikecha Yiranenu.
חנון ורחום אדוני, ערך הפן מוגדל חסד.
Tov Ranam Lekov, Rakamav Kol Masahav.
יודוך אדוני כל מעשיך, וחסידיך יברכוך.
Kivod Malkut Kayom Erok, Turetecha Yidaberu.
להודיע לבני האדם גבורותיו, וכבוד הדור מלכותו.
Malkut Kamalkut Kolamim, Umemshaltecha Bechol Dor Vador.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
Enechel Chaisa Beru, Viatamik and Klamito.
פותח את ידיך, ומצביע לכל חי רצון.
Tzadik Adonai Bechol Drecha, Bechasid Bechol Masahav.
קרוב אדוני לכל קורא, וכל אשר יקראוהו באמת.
Ritzon Riav Yaasev, Yet Shabbatam Yishmav Yoshiem.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל הרשעים ישמיד.
Tilat Adonai Daber Pihi, Vivarecho Basar Shem Kodsho Le'olam Va'ed. Va'anaknu V'rekyah. מעתה ועד עולם. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. 194. Hallelujah, 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 bekodshoho, hallelujah, berkiyahu zo, hallelujah, b'nevorotav, hallelujah, keherov gudlo, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 beteka shofar, hallelujah, benevel vechinor, hallelujah, betofu makoho, hallelujah, behenim behugav, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, b'tzel tzalei shama, hallelujah, b'tzel tzalei trua, kol shama, te hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Following page 196. Nishmat kol kai devareket shem kai Adonai Eloheinu beruch basar tamid in lana melech ala ata min melach mishmelach miraklach el gadol hagibor vehanora el elyon konei shamayim v'haaretz nehalel kam shebercha kam federcha unbareket shem kodsheka kamor ledavid barakina v'shet Adonai bekol kerovai et shem kodsho.
Yeshkoach, Yan.
Ruktiah.
So we'll continue with the cantor, page 218, Shochen Ad.
Shochen Ad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv ranenu tzadikim baronai l'sharim nava tehila b'fei yesharim tithalal u'divrei tzadikim titbarach ובלשון החסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש. ובמקלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל. ונהנה יפאר שמך מלכנו בכל דור ודור, שכן חובה כל היצורים לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו. להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפעל, לרומם, להדר, לברך, להלל ולקלס על כל דברי שירות ותשבחות. דוד בן ישי, עבדך משיחך. ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו. האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך לאדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו. שיר ושבחה, הלל וזמרה, עוז וממשלה הנצח, גדולה וגבורה תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות. ברכות והודאות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני. המלך גדול בתשבחות, ההודאות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך אלוהי העולמים.
I'd like to invite great uncle and great aunt Alan and Anita to join us on the bima. We continue Chatzi Kaddish 220.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, ועמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחייכו בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמר קודשה בריחו לאלה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בימיו ואמרו אמן.
Let's all rise for the call to worship, page 224.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach Leolam Va'ed.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. לילה 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 לילה
Continuing on the following page, 226.
הכל יודך והכל ישבחוך. אין כרך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה ואין זולתך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס פרצך גואלנו לימות המשיח ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים.
El Adon 228.
אל אדון הכל המעשים ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה גודלו וטובו מלא עולם דעת ודבונה הסובבים אותו המקרא על חיות הקודש ונדע בכבוד המרכבה זכות ומשול לפני חיסו חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו טובים מאורות שברא אלוהינו יצרם בדעת בבינה ובהשכל כוח וגבורה נתן בהם להיות מושלים בקרב תבל מלאי זיו ופיקים נוגה נעזיבם מכל העולם שמחים בצאתה וששים בבואם עושים באימת רצון קונם פאר וכבוד נותנים לשמו זוהלה ורינה לזכר מלכותו קרא לשמש ויזרח עוד ראה והיא כהין צורת הלבנה שבח נותנים לו כל צבא מרום תפארת וגדולה סרפים ואופנים וחיות הקודש.
Let's find ourselves on page 231. Praise be God who concluded the work of creation on the seventh day and ascended the divine throne of glory and invested the day of rest with beauty, calling Shabbat an oneg, a delight. This is the distinction of the seventh day. On this day, God ceased the labor of creation.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ידעת משינו השבח מעשה ידיך, ועל מאורי אור שעשית יפארוך הסלע.
234.
יתברך שוננו מלכנו ובעלנו בורא קדושים ישבח שמך לענקנו.
כולם אהובים, כולם נעורים.
וכולם פותחים בפיהם בקדושה וטהרה, בשירה ובזמרה, וברכים ומשבחים ומפארים ומעריצים, ומהדהישים וממליכים את שם האל המלך, הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, קדוש הוא. וכולם מקבלים עליהם ומלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותנים מנשות זה לזה, להקדיש את עצמם בנחת רוח, בשפה ברורה ובנימה קדושה, כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים ביראה, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. והאופנים וחיות הקודש ברש גדול, מנשאים לעומת צרפים, לעומתם שבחים ואומרים, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
Continuing on the following page 236, if you'll join with me responsively, the champion of all just struggles. God's creative power is in all that is new and worthy. God is with us when we struggle to make a better world.
When we struggle to promote justice for all, the God of justice strengthens our resolve.
When we struggle to advance the triumph of truth, the God of truth fortifies our will.
When we struggle to promote the cause of freedom, the God of freedom sustains our striving.
When we struggle to create a world at peace, the God of peace blesses our labors.
Adonai is a champion of all just struggles, summoning us in love to enhance creation. Or Chadash, Al Zion Ta'ir, 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 ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות.
Amen. Let's join together, singing of the love of God in Israel through the gift of Torah. 238, Ahava Rabbah.
אהבה רבה אהבתנו, אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה וצרה, חמלת עלינו. אבינו מלכנו, בעבור אבותינו, שברכו בך, אבינו מלכנו. ועד למדם חוקי חיים, כן תכוננו ותלמדנו, אבינו ברחמן, רחם עלינו, ותן בלבנו להבין ולהשכיל לשמוע, ללמוד ולמד, לשמור ולעשות, ולקיים כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה.
Michael and Amy, if you'll join your daughter on the bima. Oh, Farah, that means you have to get off of your dad's knee. I'm sorry. Ay, ay, ay. You look so comfortable there. And bringing to Bela the talit. That Bela wears today as a bat mitzvah. So you enwrap your daughter with this beautiful talit. wrapping Bela in the history, the ideals, the teachings, the beauty of our tradition. Bela, if you'll recite the bracha blessing for wearing the talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahit atef b'tzitzit.
Amen. Amen.
והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך ויחל לבבנו לאהבה וליראת שמך ולא נבוש לעולם ועד ולא נבוש לעולם ועד יבשי קודשך הגדול והנורא הגדול והנורא בטחנו נגילה ונשמחה נגילה ונשמחה בשבועתך.
The four tzitzit of our talit, holding the fringes together. We pray for the ingathering of our people from the four corners of the earth to the land, the state of Israel, 240, after which Bela will be leading us in the Shema.
והביאנו לשבו מארבע כנפות הארץ ותוליכנו קוממיות לארצנו כי יבוא אל ישועתו ובנו בחרת מכל עבד לשון וקרבתנו לשמך הגדול סלע באמת להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
אברהם עמו ישראל באהבה.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadivarim ha'ela asher anohi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uflechtecha b'derech uv'shachvecha uv'kumecha וקשרתם להיות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
Continue quietly on page 244.
Folks, those of you who are sitting without a prayer book, kind of like out in left field someplace, so we have rows on which people are not sitting, you can see, because of social distancing. So Rachel is kind enough to gather some prayer books and bring them to the back, so you'll all be able to participate in the service. no longer in left field. Let's continue 246.
Vayomer Adonai Moshe lemor daber el bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem ve'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfeihem v'dorotam v'natenu al tzitzit hakana petel techelet והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמן.
248.
לדורנו הוא קיים ושמו קיים, וחיסונך ולמלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת. אמת שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, מלכנו מלך אבותינו, הגואלנו גואל אבותינו, יוצרנו צור ישועתנו, פודנו ומצילנו מעולם שמך, אין אלוהים זולתך. בעזרת אבותינו מעולם.
Join together responsibly in the middle of page 251. From Egypt you redeemed us, Adonai, our God. From the house of bondage you delivered us.
When the children of Israel passed through in safety,
Tyranny was defeated, enslavement was ended. The dawn of freedom had come at last.
therefore they praised and extolled you. They offered your prayers of fervent
They
thanksgiving.
acclaimed you as the ever-living God, great and revered, exalted in majesty.
You humble the haughty and raise up the lowly. You free the captives and redeem the weak.
You help those in need and answer your people when they cry out to you. Top of page 252.
תהילל עליון ברוך וברך משה ובני ישראל הכנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נאורת תהילות אוספל אוספל נורת הילות אוספל אוספל שיר חדש שיבחו גאולים לשמך שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמלכו אמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד צור ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל עבדך נעמך יהודה וישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
So we begin the morning Amidah for Shabbat 255.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor VeHanora, El Elyon, Romer Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh HaKol, Vezocher Chasei Avot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מחכה חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו וישנה עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה לאחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
Kedusha 256.
נקדש השמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה ואמר קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, עתיר וחזק, משמיעים קול מן השאים ליום הטרפים, לעומתם, ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כפור אדוני ממקומו, ממקומך מכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון, בקרוב בימינו לעולם תשכון, בקרוב בימינו לעולם תשכון. תתקדש ותתקדש לתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראנה מלכותך, כדבר אמור בשירי עוזך, על ידי דוד משיח צדקך. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד כי המלך גדול וקדוש גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני
So we'll take a few moments now for individual and quiet prayer, reflection, meditation, continuing in the Amidah, 258, 259, through to the conclusion, 266, 267. Yisamach Moshe.
Oseh shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
Vayishlach 268.
יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה ועמד יברח חירותם וימליך מלכותם בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם כל עלמי יומיים. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן מעלמה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותו ואותכון לכל ישראל קודם אבוכוני וישמעיה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן.
turn now to the Torah service with our Bat Mitzvah, page 312. Ein Kamocha.
Ein kamoha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam v'ad. Adonai Oz Le'amo Yiten, Adonai Yevarech Et Amo V'Shalom. Avcharachamim Heitiv Avirtzoncha Et Zion. Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Tivecha levad batachnu, Melech Elram v'Nisa, Adon Olamim.
Let's all rise.
Vahi bin soach ha'arom, vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, ve'yafutzu oivecha, ve'yanusu mesanecha mipanecha, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, ki mitzion teitzei Torah, udvar Adonai mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Dear God, I would like to start off today by thanking you for everything you have done for me. In return, I would like to do a few things for me and for you. First, I would like to continue attending Shabbat services, fasting during Yom Kippur, making meals for the homeless, studying Hebrew, and helping my younger sisters prepare for their bat mitzvahs. I would also like to continue lighting Hanukkah candles and keeping holiday traditions. In the future, I would like to visit Israel on birthright and go to the wall, be married under a chuppah, and raise a Jewish family. I promise to work hard in school and do well so I can achieve my dreams and carry on my Jewish traditions into the future. Amen.
Amen. Velishme Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Ana Emai Tushbechan, Beyanarachet, Beyanarachet, Velishme Kadisha, Kadisha Yakira, Ana Emai Tushbechan, Gehera Avakodama, Detiftach libi beoraita, Betashli mishalim delibi, Veliba decholamach Yisrael, Letavu chayin Vayishlach. Amen.
On page 332, we'll find the prayer prayer for our country. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings upon our country and upon the leaders of our nation and of our communities. Inspire all who lead and serve to conduct their affairs honorably. May peace and security, happiness and prosperity, right and freedom abide among us. Unite the inhabitants of our country of all backgrounds and creeds, so that we may banish hatred and bigotry, safeguard our noblest ideals, and preserve those institutions which nurture liberty. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, helping to unite all peoples in peace and freedom, and bringing closer to fulfillment the visions of your prophets. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. For the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness calm and confidence forever. Amen. Page 320.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadlu Ladonai Iti, Romemav Shemo Yachdav.
Lecha Adonai HaGedula VeHaGevura VeHaTiferet VeHanetzach VeHahod Ki Ho Bashamayim Uvaretz Ki Ho Bashamayim Uvaretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlacha Lehamiknase lechol rosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu lachadom raglav kadosh hu Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu lehar kodsho Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu.
You can all be seated. I'll invite you to turn to the other book at your seats, the Chumash containing the 5 books of Moses. We are within the first book of the 5 books in the book of Genesis. Each week we read another 4 or 5 chapters. Today we are in the Torah portion known as Vayishlach, and he sent. And so we're on page 198. 198. So folks, I want to make a statement, and I imagine that hey, El, did I say something wrong? Just kidding. Go on. So let me make a statement, and I would imagine that I think that most of us that are old enough will identify with this. Maybe not everybody, but I think most of us will, because I think part of becoming an adult is that somehow we have been wounded some way in life. In some way we have been wounded. You know what, Nick? We don't need them right now. We're good. We're using a different book now.
Sorry, people who were asked.
Yeah. So, but we don't need it right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else want to get up, walk around? Say hi to each other? So the statement is that somewhere along the way, we have been wounded. When I say we've been wounded and we carry those wounds with us, that's not to say a physical wound. You know, nobody shot you, hurt you physically. You know, it's not that kind of a wound. But some kind of a psychic wound that we carry with us, right? So I'm sure there are many who can identify with this. And sometimes those wounds are so deep and so strong that we're ashamed of them. You know, I failed at this and I feel like a failure. And I don't want anybody else to know that. It's something that I'm not proud of, but I'm ashamed of. So just hold on to that thought for a moment. Last Shabbat and this Shabbat, it's all about Jacob. And Jacob, like every other biblical figure in the Hebrew Bible, is not perfect. We don't have saints in the Hebrew Bible. No biblical figure is See, Elle, you are so pretty and so cute and so sweet. I can't compete with you, you know? If I were saying the most amazing thing in the world, which I'm not, but people see you walking in, they say, wow, look at Elle. She's so sweet and beautiful. Well, we're going to get to see more of Elle in a couple of minutes. Yeah. So we have no saints. They're all imperfect, just like us. We're all imperfect also. So, you know, we can relate to them. They're imperfect, but they do something great in life, which says that each one of us who is imperfect, and we carry our own wounds, and we might even be ashamed of those wounds, we too can do something great in life. Okay, so how is Jacob imperfect? You all know the story that his brother Esau was born a couple of minutes before him, and so the birthright went to the oldest child. But Jacob took advantage of his brother Esau. Esau came home after hunting one day, and he was famished, he was starving, and Jacob said to him, I'll give you something of the food that I'm making. He was quite a cook, Jacob. He was making some lentil stew, and I'll give you some, but you give me the birthright. And there's no question he took advantage of his brother. His brother was very impetuous, and it wasn't fair. Jacob wasn't so perfect. And then I'm sure that you remember, even from Hebrew school or Sunday school, the story later on that when his father Isaac, who was so old and could barely see, was going to give the blessing of the firstborn, the birthright, to Esau, Jacob gets dressed up like his brother Esau, and his goal was to trick his father to thinking that he was Esau, and as it turns out, his father gives him the blessing of the firstborn. So Jacob was a little bit of a trickster. Now some people say, well, you know, it wasn't that he did anything wrong. He was really carrying out God's plan. Maybe so, but if you look at it just on a simple level, you know, Jacob was kind of like a trickster. And then he feared that his brother Esau was so angry that his brother would give him some wounds, not psychic wounds, but he was afraid of being killed by his brother Esau, that he ran away from home. And he ran away to a place called Aram, got there fairly quickly because nobody could run like Jacob. He was like he should have been in the Olympics if they had them in those days. He was an Olympic marathon runner. Zoom, off he went. Okay, so we got that part of the story so far? Huh? We're good? Now it comes time to come home. God tells him, Jacob, you know what? You got to face the music. You've been away from home 21 years. You have all these sons. and a daughter, Dinah, who we see in today's Torah portion. It's time to come back. So Jacob picks up everybody and everything that he had acquired in those 21 years, and he comes home. And I want you to see what happens. Look, turn to page 201, if you would. Just turn a few pages. So those who are sitting in the back without a chumash, you can just listen. You're not missing anything. You're not missing anything by not having the text in front of you. I'm just going to read from it. So Jacob had all these kids and grandchildren and wives, and he puts them all in front of him. He's still somewhat of a scared person. He puts them all in front, and he stays behind them. He says, "Don't worry, guys, I'm right behind you." Because he was afraid that his brother Esau was going to attack all of these people. So he figured, if he attacks them, out I go. He's still the runner. He's still the guy that can escape at a moment's notice. But then look what happens. Look at verse 25. Jacob was left alone. This is in the middle of the night now. Was Jacob asleep? Maybe so. And a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. Who was this man? The first wrestling match? Who was it? Was it a professional wrestler? Was it an emissary of God? Was it his own conscience? That's a whole discussion in itself. When he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he wrenched Jacob's hip at its socket, so that the socket of his hip was strained as he wrestled with him. We happened to read this last night also, and having a gathering of doctors, and I assume that because we have 3 on the first row, we have some others with us here today. So doctors, any orthopedic doctor here who could fix this for Jacob? Any orthopedic? Yeah. Fred, you're the orthopedic doctor. You're here every Shabbos. So, Fred, what do you do for a guy who's got a socket of his hip was strained? A strained socket of his hip. That's pretty serious stuff, isn't it? Yeah, it's like, he needs surgery.
If it's just strained, I put it in traction for a little while.
No, make it sound as bad as it could possibly be. If it's not so bad. Let's say it's really bad. What happens? It's got to get operated on. But I think you're right, Fred, that it maybe wasn't that bad because let's just follow. I think you're right the first time. Okay, so put them in traction a little bit, and they still use traction these days. It's still yeah. Okay, so. Then he said, so just look with me here. Then he said, Jacob says, "Let me go, for dawn is breaking." But he answered, this is the wrestler, "I will not let you go." Oh, no. No, I'm sorry. I got it totally backwards. Then he said, "Let me go." That's the wrestler says, "Let me go." Because even though he's been wounded, Jacob still wants to continue the fight. So the wrestler says, "Let me go." But Jacob answers, I'm on the next page now, 202, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Now the reality is, Jacob is already blessed. He's just been blessed. What has he been blessed with? This sounds so terribly counterintuitive. It's enough to make your prayer book fall. But look at the great Jewish education you've had here, Bela. The Chumash drops, you pick it up, you kiss it, and it's good. It's good. You're good. You're good, sweetie. You're good. So he's already been blessed in a sense, because it's only after he's wounded, let's see what happens here, that then he's able to face his brother. So now, go with me a couple of verses. Go to verse 31. So Jacob named the place Peniel, meaning I've seen a divine being face to face, yet my life has been preserved. The sun rose upon him, and he passed Penuel, limping on his hip. He was a great runner. He could run away. But it wasn't until he was wounded. This was a physical wound, not the psychic wound that I'm otherwise talking about. This is a physical wound. And it's only when he's limping that he's then able to approach his brother Esau. So then we get into chapter 33, looking up. Jacob saw Esau coming, accompanied by 400 men. I don't know if any of you, if this name rings a bell at all. There was a poet by the name of Robert Bly. And in the 1990s, he wrote a book called Iron John. It's a book, calls it a book for men. And in one passage in the book, which I found so deeply meaningful, and I still do 30 years later, he says, it is from our wounds, psychic wounds, maybe physical wounds also, but it's from our wounds that we will give our greatest gift to others. And he talks about different kinds of wounds. An abusive parent, an alcoholic parent, this or that, whatever it is. And things that we might be so horribly ashamed of, but it's from those wounds that we can give our greatest, that we do give our greatest gift to others. And maybe I was moved by it so much because I identify with it so much. And, I would imagine that others might as well. So in ways that we've been hurt most in life, where we have failed in life, all the things we don't want anybody else to know about us. I want to look good. I don't want you to know this about me. Up. It's really from those. If you know this word, raise your hand, okay? And then I'm gonna wrap things up. If you know the word, raise your hand. The word is adulting. No, I did not say adulterating. I said adulting. No, raise your hand and keep your hand up. I'm surprised all the young people in the back don't. Maybe you're not old enough. Some people aren't old enough, and some people are too old. But I was at a conference a couple of years ago, and all the people were considerably younger than me. They were, Kenner, you were sitting next to me. I was sitting next to you. They were what, in their 30s, 40s? What were they?
They were my age.
Around your age, right? Young. So they started talking about adulting. And I'm sitting next to the Kenner, and I said, what's that? Well, what's that? So it's like all the things that a young person then does that they can say, wow, I'm an adult. They rent the apartment for the first time. They're writing out their checks, paying their bills, right? All the things they never did as a child, but now they're doing it as adults. And there's the term adulting, right? Don't confuse it with anything else. It's adulting. So I would say that part of adulting is that we look back on our lives and we say, yeah, I've been wounded. But we learned from Jacob today how we can deal with those wounds. So let me just say it for the very last time. It's from those wounds that we can give our greatest gift to others. Okay, we're going to turn now to the reading of the Torah. And Cantor, am I correct to say that we are beginning on 201 or 202? Are we beginning on 202 or 201, I think?
I'll tell you in just a second.
Okay. This is the Cantor's department.
Yes, we're beginning on page 201, verse 25.
Great, okay. So, Michael and Amy, you'll have the first aliyah to the Torah. Pop-Up and Aunt Lisa, Arnold and Lisa have the honor of the second aliyah. Poppy and Bubby, you have, Carl and Brenda, the honor of the third aliyah. As we normally have 7 aliyot on Shabbat, but we're doing somewhat condensed services because of the situation. We don't want to have to sit here too long. So there's 3 aliyot. And then I said El's going to be back up, and Farah are going to be calling Bela to the Torah for Bela's aliyah as a bat mitzvah. Okay, Jan, it's all yours.
Aviva Malka bat Avram Nisan Lechana Baruch Shenatan Torah Ve'emo Yisrael B'Kshato V'aytem Advekim Baranayim Heitem Naim Shulechem V'ayom.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayivater Yaakov levado, ve'ya'avek ish imo ad alot shahashachar, vayar ki lo yacholo, vayika v'chaf yerecho, vateka chaf yerech Yaakov, ve'yavko imo. Vayomer shalacheni ki Allah hashachar, Vayomer lo ashalechacha ki im berachtani.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Yasher Koach, Michael and Amy.
Yamdu Avram Nisan Ben Ephraim Mordechai Ufega V'lei Rachel bat Avram Nisan Ben Chana Shehi.
So we're on page 202, verse 28.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer elav mashmecha vayomer Yaakov. Vayomer lo Yaakov ye'amer od shemcha ki im Yisrael ki sarita im Elohim ve'im hanashim vatuchal. Vayish'al Yaakov, Vayomer Agidana Shemecha, Vayomer Lama Zeh Tish'al Lishmi, Vayevarech Oto Sham.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'olam b'taf et Elokeinu. Baruch Atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Ah, we won't go that far. Yeah. We're going to be offering now a prayer, a Mishaberach prayer for all those who are dear to us, who are ill. I'll be pausing within the Mishaberach prayer, and as I pause, you can all then offer, not out loud, but loud enough for God to hear, the names of loved ones for whom we pray today. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sara Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh et את כל החולים הקרובים לנו אנחנו מתפללים שהקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם להחלימם ולרפאותם וישלח להם במהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים רפואת הנפש רפואת הגוף לכל איבריהם וגידיהם בתוך שאר חולי ישראל Shabbat milizok refuah kerova lavo Hashta ba'agala vizman karev V'nomar Amen
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor habracha Find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Ya'amdu Amen Hayam Ubela Bat Menachem V'Sarah Shlishi.
Amen. No. I got to read first. Okay. Yeah. Vayikra Yaakov Shem Hamakom Peniel Ki Ra'iti Elohim Panim El Panim Vatinatzel Nafshi Vayizrach Lo Hashemesh Ka'asher Avar Et Penuel V'hu Tzolea al yirecho al kein lo yochlu v'nei Yisrael et gid hanasher asher aqaf hayarech ad hayom hazeh ki nogea bechaf yerech Yaakov begid hanasher. Amen. Yeah. We're going to be continuing the reading of the Torah this morning. The Maftir Aliyah, page 220. So we have a tradition in our synagogue that when the kids are in the Aleph class, it's like the first year of really Hebrew school. Before that is Sunday school. But when they're in the Aleph class, that the family makes a Torah cover that is to be used on the Bat Mitzvah day of that young person. So here's this beautiful, actually, they're originally called in Yiddish a wimple. Can you all see it? Yeah. So this is Bela's wimple. Every person should have one. And here you have a heart. Here you have a chamsa. And here you have two bumblebees. Bela, what's the meaning of the bumblebee? You know, I'm only a rabbi. How would I be able to put that together? In Hebrew, Bela Devora, and Devora is a bee. Right. Makes sense. Glad I asked. Ta-da, ladies! Elle and Farah, come on up to the bima to call your sister to the Torah for Bela's aliyah as a bat mitzvah. You know what? Come close. Come over here.
Ta'amud, Haftarah, Habat Mitzvah, Bela Devorah, Bat Menahem, Mendel, Aviva Milka, Meftira, He's Key.
So once again, we're on page 220, right at the very top of the page for the Maftir Aliyah.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torah. Baruch atah Adonai noten Torah. Ve'ele shemot alufei Esau lemishpechotam limkomotam bishmotam aluf timna aluf alva aluf yatet aluf Ha'alivama, Aluf Elah, Aluf Pinon, Aluf Kenaz, Aluf Teman, Aluf Mitzar, Aluf Magdiel, Aluf Iram Ele, Aluf Thay Edom, Lemoshvotam Be'eretz Achuzatam, Chu Esav Avi Edom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. So I have a distinct honor of blessing Miss Bela. I've been her tutor for the last 10 months, and we've had a lot of wonderful ups, little oopsies downs, but we've made it, and as you can see, she has been phenomenal. So it's my honor to sing you a blessing. May you live to see your world fulfilled. May you be our link to future worlds. And may your hope encompass all the generations to be. May your heart conceive with understanding. May your mouth speak wisdom, and your tongue be stirred with sounds of joy. May your gaze be straight and sure, your eyes be lit with Torah's lamp, your face aglow with heaven's radiance, your lips alive with words of wisdom, and your inner self alive with righteousness. And may you always rush in eagerness to hear the words of one more ancient than all time. And let us say, Amen.
Let's all rise as we're about to lift and wrap the Torah.
Ta'amot ha'aviha, ta'amot ha'golelet. Tizor HaTorah Asher Sam Moshe B'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai.
Grab the top scrolls and roll them together. Can all be seated. So I'm going to invite you all to pay especially close and careful attention. No one is allowed to walk out. Oh, sorry, Paula. You know, Paula, if you can hold on 3 minutes, you don't want to miss the next part. I know you don't, because Bela is going to be delivering her Devar Torah. Yeah.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
There were once two brothers, Jacob and Esau. They lived together with their father and mother in their home country. Jacob was the more gentle soul of the family. He was more scared of challenges and confrontation than his brother. Esau was a hunter and more physically strong than his brother Jacob. Jacob would often stay home and make food and lentil soup with his mother for Esau when he came home from a hunt. Jacob was the favorited youngest child of his mother Rebekah. Esau was the older brother, and he was favorited by his father Laban. One day, Jacob lied to his father and tricked him into blessing him instead of Esau, who was the firstborn son. Jacob wanted to avoid confrontation with Esau, so he ran away and moved out of their country to another land. 21 years had passed, and Jacob had gotten married to Leah and Rachel. He had become very successful. He owned land and animals and had servants. One day, Jacob had a dream, and in that dream, he was told by God that it was time for him to return to his home and talk to Esau. Jacob was scared of his brother Esau. Jacob sent messengers to tell his brother that he was coming back home. The messengers returned with the message that Esau would come and meet with him with 400 men. Jacob became scared that Esau might come to kill him because he had tricked their father into blessing him. Jacob sent many messengers with many gifts to give to his brother before he came home to show Esau that he respected him. Jacob was a very scared man. He divided his family and servants into two camps. He placed them in front of him and stayed behind all of them alone so that he could run off if Esau tried to kill him. The night before Esau arrived, Jacob met an angel. Jacob asked for the angel's name, but the angel would not tell him his name. A great fight broke out between Jacob and the angel. They wrestled all night long. Jacob pinned the angel and would not let it go. The angel begged Jacob to let it go, as the morning was coming. Jacob, who won the fight against the angel, said, "You have to bless me, or I will not let you go." The angel agreed and blessed Jacob. Unfortunately, during the wrestling match, Jacob had his hip injured by the angel. Jacob was left limping after the match. That night, Jacob also prayed to God that God delivers him safely to his home country and that Esau wouldn't kill him and his family. When Esau arrived to see Jacob, instead of running away from his problems, Jacob lined his family up behind him and walked ahead. He limped towards Esau and bowed to him 7 times, acting like Esau's servant. Esau went to Jacob and they hugged and cried, because no matter what may happen and how many years had passed, Esau loved his brother. Esau offered to help his brother in his travels back to their country, but Jacob chose to do it on his own. Along the way to the town of Succoth, Jacob brought land and built buildings. He went to a nearby city and bought more land and built an altar. He proclaimed that God is the God of Israel. My Torah portion means many things to me. It means and shows me the importance of trusting and loving your family. Much like of the story of Jacob, he thought he couldn't trust his brother Esau. However, he learned that when Esau arrived, he came with open arms, and they both cried because they were so happy to see each other. This shows me how important it is to trust and love your family. Even if you do something wrong, a trusting and loving family will find a way to love you and forgive you. My Torah portion has also taught me that you shouldn't run away from your problems. Jacob ran away from his country and the fact that he deceived his father and angered his brother. Instead of continuing running and ignoring his problems, he faced his brother Esau after many years had passed. He faced the problem head on in the end, even if he initially thought to run. He and his brother hugged and cried because they loved each other. If Jacob had faced his problem before, he would not have to live in fear his whole life. This teaches us by taking on life problems immediately and not running away, so we can often make corrections sooner and not live a life of regret or fear. For my mitzvah project, I am making soup and meals for the homeless. This is similar to when Jacob was younger. He would stay home with his mother and help make soup for Esau when he went away to hunt. So my idea was to help the less fortunate. My friends and I made food and soup and freeze them in containers. We then helped give out the meals every 2 weeks. I'm doing this by using the Caring for Friends Foundation, which helps homeless people. This has been a great mitzvah project. It allows me to reflect on the fact that many of us are blessed with family, homes, and food to eat. It gives me great pride to be able to help those who are less fortunate and don't have food. It is also interesting because of how it ties in with my parsha. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. That's your koach, Bela. Really so thoughtful. Michael, can I invite you to come up and hold the Torah? Will arise. Turn to page 332. Prayer for Medinat Yisrael.
Adonai Eloheinu, Tzor Yisrael v'goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, v'hagen aleha.
We ask your blessings, O God, for the state of Israel, for the land of Israel, and for the people of Israel. Bless those who defend the land and protect its people. Bless its leaders with wisdom, courage, and dedication. May they be resolute in the face of challenge and unwavering in the pursuit of justice and peace. May Israel be a beacon of hope for the oppressed, a source of inspiration to all who are free. Fulfill in our day the ancient promise.
Zion
Zion shall be redeemed through justice, and its inhabitants through righteousness. Amen.
Amen. Let's turn now to the service for returning the Torah to the Aron Kodesh.
There you two coming up.
Towards the bottom of page 340, Yehalelu.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, Ki niskav Shemo Livado.
Odo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren leyamo, tehila lechol chasidav, Mibnei Yisrael al kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
All right, Sarah, now, Mike, we should have to open
Jan.
the door.
Bela, your mother and I are so very proud of you. Not simply today, but every day of our lives. We've been blessed with 3 intelligent and beautiful daughters. When I say beautiful, I mean both inside and out. It's a big responsibility being the oldest. As the eldest child, you blaze the path for your sisters. They look up to you and see how and why you do things in life. What you have just done marks a monumental moment in your life, your bat mitzvah. You did an amazing job, by the way, and I knew you would. We're overwhelmed with pride today and in all of your accomplishments. Both Mommy and myself hope that you always remember that you are part of a wonderful heritage. This heritage has been passed down from generation to generation for thousands of years. You are connected to the Jewish people, to God, and to the Torah. Let this day be a reminder to you that your place in the universe is unique because you are Jewish. We know that you will continue to learn and mature. You'll find, unfortunately, the world is not always a fair place. However, we charge you with the task of striving to do your best to make it better. Do not let others sway you from what you know to be right and just. Always believe in your own abilities. Remember that you are a unique individual. The most important thing is that you be honest with yourself. Always give everything you have to give, and always be the best that you can be. You should always know that no matter what problems you face, you will always have the love and support of your parents. Even when we are gone one day, we will always watch over you and guide you. Bela, you have brought more joy and happiness to your mother and me than you will ever possibly know. It is amazing to see you just being yourself. It has given us extraordinary pleasure to watch you blossom into the beautiful young lady who stands before us today. We look forward to you using your talents to do something remarkable so that you will make a difference in this world. We have no doubt that you will do just that. And most importantly, may you never, ever, ever forget how much you are loved and adored by your family and friends today and always. So proud of you.
Etz Chaim Lama Chazikim Ba V'Tom Checha Me'ushar.
Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Etz Chaim Hilama Kaziki Ba V'Tom Checha Me'ushar. Etz Chaim Hilama Kaziki Ba V'Tom Checha Me'ushar. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Good job.
Great. You're beautiful, Michael. So beautiful. A standing ovation, but then you can sit down. So Bela, sweetie, you can actually close your siddur right now. Yeah. So you know, Bela, if I won, I won, I don't know, in some kind of a contest, and what I won was I could pick any family in the congregation to have the most, let's say, fun day with them, right? The gift is like a fun day with any member you choose of the congregation. I would choose the Hoffmans. I choose your family, right? There they are. So we had 2 meetings, right? First one was talking about your Devar Torah. The second one was kind of making the final deal for today. They were 2 of the most fun meetings I've ever had. You guys are a hoot, you know?
Welcome to the circus, Rabbi.
And everybody contributes in their own way, which is what makes it so beautiful. Everybody contributes in its own way. But you know what? In the midst of having a lot of fun together, Bela, I learned something. You know, I've been watching you grow up in our synagogue since you're in preschool and then in Hebrew school. So when I see you, I say, hey, Bela, like, hi, If I want to be really Jewish, I might say, shalom, Bela, right? So, but you and I have never sat down and had a serious conversation until we started working on your Devar Torah. And I had all kinds of questions to ask you. Remember, it was like all kinds of questions. And I was so moved by the depth of your thinking and how articulate you were in responding to those questions. And as the time went on, I realized that I was asking questions to you that I wouldn't really ask to a 13-year-old because you were right there. You were handling it. And it was a great time. It was fun, and it was serious, and it was a great time. So, those who know you best know that you're a very special young woman, Bela. You are kind and loving and great help to your sisters, though they may not attest to it at any given moment of any given day. But it's the truth. Yeah, there you go. It's the truth. And you do cheer and all kinds of wonderful things, right? Sports, and you're also quite the fashionista, I understand. Huh? So I figured to myself, it's Bela Hoffman's bat mitzvah, the fashionista. I gotta raise my game here a little bit today. So no white shirt today, right? I went pink with a pink tie. How's it look?
Great.
Looks great? Okay. Nothing like fishing for a compliment from a fashionista, right? So. I think just what Dad was saying on behalf of Mom and Dad, you've been blessed so richly, sweetie, that the sky is the limit for you. And today is but one day in your life, but from this moment on, you are forever and ever a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandments, now responsible for your own Jewish life, and to take these qualities that are uniquely yours, Bela, as I told you before. You're here in the world because there never was, never will be, and is not today anyone else that's exactly like Bela Hoffman. And you have something unique that God has in mind for you to do in your life and with your life. And there's no question in my mind you're going to do something really wonderful and really special. So I have some wonderful and special things that we'd like to give to you. So, in the olden days, I used to do this talking right next to the bat mitzvah, but we are now so socially distanced. So, there's a few things in here. First is the new Jewish Publication Society translation of the Torah. Then there are two gifts from a most special place in Jerusalem called Yad L'Kashish, where elderly Jerusalemites come together to do all kinds of beautiful Judaica work and artwork. So they've made a Kiddush cup and Shabbat candlesticks, especially for you. And do you ever do any baking, Bela? You do. What kind of things do you bake, sweetie? Wait. What kind of cookies? Chocolate chip. Those are my favorite cookies. You too? Well, we got something in common. How often do you bake these chocolate chip cookies?
We haven't made them in a while.
And so it's about time, right? Yeah, no, they're my favorite cookies, really. My favorite cookies. Chocolate chip cookies. I love them. So there's a gift from the Cantor also. It's called Cantor Annalise's Challah recipe, and it gives you all of the ingredients and step by step. And if you find yourself having any problem, you can call the Cantor Annalise helpline. It just means calling Kat or Annalise. So, what, Annalise?
She's got my number.
Yeah, I know. So somebody said you bake Hummentaschen. Right. So this is a little bit more complicated than Hummentaschen, but you could do it. 4 to 7 cups all-purpose flour. Parchment paper. That's like the Torah is written on parchment paper, isn't it? So I know. It's a different parchment paper. Okay. No, this has everything. You'll try it, huh? Amy, you think you guys are up for it? Michael?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So with challah and the wine, candlesticks, you're all set for Shabbat, sweetie. And finally, let's put this back here. Finally, I want to read to you the certificate that we're really so happy and proud to give to you today. Certificate of Bat Mitzvah presented by Ohev Shalom to Bela Hoffman. Bela Devora Bat Menachem Mendel V'Aviva Malka. Did I get that right, Al? You know the name. Who was duly inducted as a Bat Mitzvah, 16th day of Kislev, 5782, 20th of November, 2021. Parshat Vayishlach. With our prayer for you, Bela Yehi Chelcha B'Torat Adonai, may your portion be amongst those who live in labor in the Torah of God, signed by the cantor and myself. So we'll give all of these things to you just after the service, okay? Bela, can I ask you to stand on the other side of the Torah table, facing the ark, sweetie? Yeah, great. Mom and Dad, grandparents? Farah? El? Okay, we're all going to stay on the carpeted area. Okay, you're perfect. You got it. You got it.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May the Lord bless you and guard you.
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
May the Lord make his countenance to shine upon you and to be gracious always unto you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך ויעשה לך שלום.
Bela, may God continue to watch over you, that you grow in health and strength, with the wisdom of love for yourself, for your family, for your people Israel, for all peoples and all humanity. May God bless you always with a blessing of shalom, of peace. And we all say together,
Amen.
and in thanking God for this so special day, let's join together in reciting Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. We praise you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, for keeping us in life, preserving us, and bringing us to this great, splendid day of Bela becoming a bat mitzvah.
Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, besimen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, besimen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, besimen tov. Yelanu, 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 Chavo Yisrael. Yelanu, yelanu, Chavo Yisrael. Yelanu, yelanu, Chavo Yisrael. Yelanu, yelanu, Chavo Yisrael. Mazel tov.
Mazal tov. Didi, can I invite you to come up? and offer a reading entitled 24 Things to Remember and One Thing to Never Forget. Didi, you can take your mask off.
I'm already starting. Bela, your presence is a present to the world. You're unique and one of a kind. Your life can be what you want it to be. Take the days, just one day at a time. Count your blessings, not your troubles. You make it through whatever comes along. Within you are so many answers. Understand, have courage, be strong. Don't put limits on yourself. So many dreams are waiting to be realized. Decisions are too important to leave to chance. Reach your peak, your goal, your prize. Nothing wastes more energy than worrying. The longer one carries a problem, the heavier it gets. Don't take things too seriously. Live a life of serenity, not a life of regrets. Remember that a little love goes a long way. Remember that a lot goes forever. Remember that friendship is a wise investment. Life's treasure are people together. Realize it's never too late. Do ordinary things in an extraordinary way. Have health, hope, and happiness. Take time to wish upon a star, and don't ever forget, for even a day, how very special you are.
Thanks, Didi. So let's turn to the concluding part of our service. Ein Kelohenu, page 400.
Ein Kelohenu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, mich Elohenu, mich Adonenu, mich Emalkeinu, mich Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Atahu Shehiktiru Avotenu, Lefanecha Eketoret Hasamim.
I'd like to invite Cousin Sherry Hillary to join us on the Bima. And we'll all rise for Aleinu 402.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהונות השמיים ויוסר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינות עוזו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אין למלכנו אפס זולתו גדלתו בתורתו וידעת היום השבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, בארץ ועל הארץ, מתחת אין עוד אין עוד.
You can all be seated.
כן נקבל לך. ימלכות שלה היא עולמי תמלוך בכבוד, כך כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד.
At this very sacred moment, we take this moment to recall with so much love Bela's mom, Dr. Evelyn Whitkin. I know that her presence is felt so deeply and lovingly here today at this moment as it's felt on so many, many days. You know, we have an expression in Yiddish, Bela, it's called Shepping Nachas. It means just being overwhelmed with pride. And we can do that here in this world, and we can do it in the world that lies before us. So I know your mama is Shepping Nachas at this moment. May her memory always, always, always be cherished for a loving blessing. Today on the 16th day of Kislev, we recall the loving memories of Ronald Kravitz and Elaine Kravitz, parents of Gail Wasserstein, this day of their Yortzeit, and those whose Yortzeits have been observed during the course of this past week: Jacob Krython, Albert Wexler, Jesse F. Sachs, Mordechai Glickman, Anna Weiser, Label Walder, Muriel Louise Young, Oscar Trencher, Nathan Levinson, Gloria Bass, Stephen Springer, Richard Pogash, S. William Leibowitz, Sylvia Fisher, Dorothy Eisman, Elizabeth Eisenberg, Ethel Rubin, Sidney Rosenfeld, Lillian Major, Jerry Bleiweiss, and those whose families are yet within the days of Shloshim since their passing, Marvin Levy and Bernard Siegel. And those whose families are yet within the year of mourning since their passing, we recall the loving memories of Ethel Shulman, Gussie Chudnov, Bennett Silver, Lou Chaifetz, Benjamin Hoffman, Harold Kurtz, David Aronson, Jeffrey Berlin, Mara Lipschitz, Mildred Klein, Hollis Cohen, Donald Golden, Michelle Fields, Joel David Kaplan, Sandy Goldstein, Charles Chuck Steinberg, Lily Zimmett, Robin Solis, and Beryl Gottesman. May each of their memories continue to be cherished for a loving blessing of all those reciting Kaddish, either in the year of mourning or observing Yortzeit, would now rise. Kaddish Hakom can be found on page 410. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'olama divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala ubizman karev imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabba mevorach ve'olam la'almei almaya yitparach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yithadar v'yitoleh v'yithalal shmei dekucha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Tamiran bi'olma v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Amen.
So, on behalf of our entire synagogue family, it's really my very special joy today to wish Mazal Tov, Amy to you, Michael to you, El to you. El just had a special ceremony for being in the Aleph class this year, and you did great, sweetie. And upside down Farah to you. That's a great trick. You can keep your kippah on even when you're upside down. I love it. I love it. Nobody else could do that. It's a Farah specialty. There you go. Arnold, to you, and Didi, to you, and Carl and Brenda, to you, the family, the friends, how great it is to be together and celebrate this wonderful, wonderful day. Bela becoming a bat mitzvah. So let me wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and I'm sure it's going to be a happier Thanksgiving this year where we can actually get together with family and friends and, be together safely. So have a great, wonderful week leading up to Thursday, the big day. Adon Olam, 412.
For those of us who were here last night or were able to join us over Zoom, we did a special Adon Olam to the marching band version, which has been specially requested for this morning. So for anyone who would like to join along, I have instruments that go along with the Adon Olam. So please join me.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Teren Kol, do-do-do-do, Yitid Yirba, Tang Tang Li'et Nasa, B'Chef Sokol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Yachadei Kiklod HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nara Adon Olam, Vehu Haya, Vehu Hover, Vehu Ya B'Tifara Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Teren Kol, do-do-do-do, Yatin Yirba, Tang Tang Li'et Nasa, B'Chef Sokol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, B'Yehu Echad, V'Yein Sheni, Lehamshilo Le'achbira Adon Olam, Beli Reishit, Beli Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'Ha'misra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Teren Kol, do-do-do-do, Yatin Yirba, Tang Tang Li'et Nasa, B'Chef Sokol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli V'chai Goli, V'tor Havi V'yetzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi Manosli, Menakosi V'yom Ikra Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Teren Kol, do-do-do-do, Yatin Yirba, Tang Tang Li'et Nasa, B'Chef Sokol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Bing Be'yato Hakid Ruchi, Be'atishan Ve'ya'ira Adon Olam, Ve'im Ruchi Gaviyati, Adon Ali Ve'lo Ira Adon Olam, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'Teren Kol, do-do-do-do, Yatin Yirba, Tang Tang Li'et Nasa, B'Chef Sokol, Azai melech shemo nikra Adon olam. Shabbat.
We're all rise for Kiddush.
Oh, yes, of course. Excuse me. Kiddush, Kiddush.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וישמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
Chaim.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Mevorach. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Mevorach.
Shabbos, everyone.
Shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom.
Mazel tov.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.